This is Dex Dilly. You're listening to Out and About in the Big Easy. Yeah, man.
Well, welcome to Out and About the Big Easy. Thanks, Mr. Dex. This is your host, PJ LaRive. You know, traveling can be expensive between gas, plane fare, lodging, and food. Man, a trip out of town can really sucker punch your wallet, which is why it's great to stay home. Other reasons to visit the Big Easy if you're traveling in, there's tons of things to do here that cost literally nothing. And that doesn't just include people watching, which is, still pretty fun. I love the people watch. Here are some very best ways to get your gratis going if you're planning on visiting New Orleans, or better yet, if you live here. City Park. I'm going to tell you something about City Park. And I grew up in New Orleans. I grew up in Gentilly. A lot of you tell me that I haven't lost that Gentilly verbiage, which is hilarious to me. I've lived all over the world, but came back to New Orleans. And this city cultivates resplendent natural beauty. There are so many ways to enjoy it, but the best to start with New Orleans is public parks. Whether it's Waldenburg Park, right on the riverfront in the French Quarter, Audubon Park if you're uptown, or the City Park in Mid-City. One of the biggest 13-acre, oldest municipal parks in the country is City Park. It dates back to 1854, and I was just recently told that there's trees that are over 800 years old that's in that park. I walked through the park just recently and just couldn't believe how much natural splendor was there, and the moss hanging off the trees. It was just amazing. The cemeteries of New Orleans, iconic, historic, and uniquely beautiful. Visit the cities of the dead. Mausoleums are dearly departed are buried above ground here for you visitors. And even though new law says you can't visit the famous St. Louis Cemetery No. 1 without a licensed tour guide, it's still worth it. Get the licensed tour guide and just take a quick walk through. Once the tour guide is in, you can kind of escape if you're a photographer and take some pictures on your own. With a visit to free art downtown, the Arts District, you can gallery hop on Julia Street for free the first Saturday of the month and pretend that it's your fancy pants without actually having to buy fancy pants. Although in general, some kind of pants will be required. Check out NOMA and the Sculpture Garden. Such a pleasure to go to the Sculpture Garden, but NOMA is New Orleans Museum of Art. Every Wednesday, the New Orleans Museum of Art is free. You need to prove that you're a Louisiana resident, yet another reason to move to NOLA, right? Take some swing lessons on Sundays at the Always Lounge and Tuesday nights at DBA on Frenchman. Though there's a one drink minimum, I think, for that event, so it's not technically free, but if you're going to see me swing dance, I'm going to buy a couple drinks. So folks, tons of things to do in New Orleans. Again, live music. I'm talking about Frenchman Street. Live music on Frenchman. There's obvious an abundance of music in the Big Easy, but you'll be heartened to know that many of the clubs on famous Frenchman Street don't have covers, including the Spotted Cat, Apple Barrel, Cafe Negro. Adult beverages still aren't free. You get all the bad. You got Charmaine Neville playing. I mean, it's worth a one drink or two drinks or whatever. Just don't drive drunk. You're in New Orleans. Get swampy. 30 minutes from the city, you'll encounter the glorious beauty of South Louisiana swamp life at Jean Lafitte National Historic Park and Preserve. And watch out for nutria and gators. If you're a visitor in New Orleans, a gator is an alligator. Yes, don't feed the alligators. Going back to arts, right? Because I was thinking about Julia Street. Stop in at the art galleries on Royal Street. A certain ambience that I really enjoy. You don't have to drop a couple of grand on art to appreciate Royal Street galleries. And antique dealers down the Royal Street corridor, make sure not to miss Rue Antiques. Just ask for a guided tour and they'll be happy to oblige you. they have a killer collection of sword canes. I'm not kidding you, sword canes, among other really cool artifacts. I'm telling you, New Orleans, between food, drink, entertainment, this is the place to be. Out and about in a Big Easy. Stand by. I'm going to go to a quick commercial break with our sponsor, and I'll be right back, and we're going to talk about New Orleans, baby.
It's 100 degrees in the shade. You're covered with sweat and dying to jump into your cool pool to cool off. But wait, your pool water is green. Why? Your pool pump is broken. Ouch! Hey, but don't worry. Professor Pools has you covered. Broken motor, broken pump, spa heater not working, leaky pipes, automatic cleaning system not working. Don't worry. Professor Pools has you covered. Check them out at www.professorpools.com. That's www.professorpools.com.
Hi, I'm Charmaine. Need one of these. That's right, it's a Snowdat snowball. And they're so good, and you will know that once you try that. Snowdat snowball.
Strawberry cheesecake.
We got that. At Snowdat.
Cotton candy tutti frutti.
We got that.
Snowdat snowball. King cake flavor, man.
We got that.
Snowdat.
At Snowdat. The party don't start till Snowdat come. Your house, the lakefront, or Audubon. The river bend uptown. Make no mistake.
Man, you're not kidding. Snowdat snowballs, that's the way to go. You know, free opera on Bourbon Street. When it comes to local music, if you're less into Back That Ass Up and more into The Marriage of Figaro, you'd be delighted to know every second Wednesday of each month there is a totally free opera performance down in the French Quarter, courtesy of Bon Operatet. Look it up, B-O-N, Operatet is O-P-E-R-A-T-I-T. Very, very cool. Sit on the levee and watch boats cruise the Mississippi. I mean, this is just another reason to move to New Orleans, right? You can sit and watch the barges, tugboats, the cruise ships, and cargo freighters navigate the river. Always makes for a relaxing show. Bring a bottle of wine, a couple glasses, bring your sweetheart or your honey, especially around sunset. Bonus points if you pack a picnic basket. So, hearing the music in the background, I got a lot of phone calls this week from last week's show. We had Dex Delay on. A lot of people didn't get a chance to hear his second performance here in our studio. So I made a promise that I would do a small segment and let Dex come on, rock this one more time. I saved the recording from last week, so this is a pre-recorded session that he sat in our studios here and did. So guys, enjoy this. It's just a couple minutes long and I'm fulfilling my promise. You're listening to WWL Radio New Orleans, out and about in a Big Easy.
All right, man.
All right, in mind.
man. I guess I read. I'm trying. Here we go.
Let's go. Mike, I'm doing video for us. His whole body is in this. Folks, this is Dex Delay and Jam X. New Orleans, WWL Radio.
This is Dex Daly. You're listening to Out and About in the Big Easy. Yeah, man.
Man, that was just as good as the first time I heard it. You're listening to WWL Radio, Out and About in the Big Easy here in beautiful New Orleans.
Dodge is a powerful vehicle that affects the chemicals in the brain which may give you the feeling of immortality. Dodge is not recommended for individuals who have strong ties to social networks or are obsessed with mobile games. You should not use Dodge if you are allergic to adrenaline, endorphins, burnouts, or freedom. Dodge is highly addictive. Even one test drive of Dodge may lead to irreversible changes in your life. Dodge has been known to make the voices in your head louder and has the ability to shift perceptions and burn bridges. Dodge may impair your ability to obey the rules and respect social conventions. People with gluten intolerance, political aspirations, or lack of self-control should use caution when operating Dodge. Do not use Dodge if you are pregnant or do not want to get pregnant. Dodge may cause loss of inhibitions and in some cases bodily functions. Side effects include shortness of breath, increased blood flow to the genitals, and angry neighbors. Dodge has been known to frighten wild animals and show dogs in equal measure. Dodge Brothers Motor Company is not responsible for any decisions made behind the wheel of Dodge. Consult physician, psychiatrist, and the Holy Trinity before driving Dodge. Consider yourself warned.
Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I desire.
And I'm back. It's PJ LaRive, out and about in a Big Easy here in beautiful New Orleans. Hey, let's talk about free stuff. Free crawfish. Yeah, that's right. I said it, free. Crawfish just show up at our bar. That's a.k.a. Royal Street Inn. Every Friday starting at 6 p.m. when the crawfish are in season. But make sure you have your head-sucking, tail-pinching game on point because they go fast. Free crawfish. Check this out. Free oysters. Cheap oysters are a point of pride in New Orleans. I know living up north, they wouldn't even serve us free oysters. I mean, they wouldn't even serve us raw oysters. I'm not to mention free, but you would have to have them charbroiled because, I don't know, some northern thing. Anyway, NOLA has oysters. We pride ourselves on our oysters, but we can do one better by charging nothing at Le Bon Temps Roulé every Friday starting at 7 p.m. It's gratis until they run out. And